We're live. We're doing it again.
Let's see if we manage to be right.
Oh, I should have put myself on your Wi-Fi network. It doesn't matter. I have the data.
But are we live? We're still sideways. Is this you?
No, that's the old video. You have to refresh my page.
We're like we're right side up. Look at us.
We're right side up.
Oh my goodness, this is
right
good.
Side up.
This is my home.
Welcome.
Welcome to my couch.
This is my beautiful friend Christina.
Aloha.
I'm Dante. You probably know me if you're watching it on my feed. Maybe you're watching a recording of it. That's cool too. So we wanted to collaborate because we love each other and we both do beautiful, creative, spiritual work online, and because it will help you a lot. And why else are we doing this?
Well, a little birdie told me that if I put my face on the internet enough, good things will happen.
So there you go. We're going to talk for an hour about how you put your face on the internet in order for good things to happen.
Basically, getting it down to that. Exactly. So I have a business that I have managed to put online, and I've been watching Dante grow his business, and it just seems to be that the online is the place to be, where we can connect with good-hearted folks, like-hearted peeps from around the world, and become a magnet for beauty and for abundance and for friendship and wealth and all the things that help us to do good things in the world.
Yeah. And now more than ever, we are temporarily, hopefully, kind of sequestered in our homes. So there's been a big surge in people seeking, and obviously the world's going to change and we're going to be able to have some degrees of freedom again, though still what this present situation has done is it's pushed a lot of people to a point where they're now really knowing they must commit to their awakening process. And so the whole thing is changing. It's like we see the world, the world's going through some stuff, and in order for me to navigate this successfully, I've got to show up for it fully. And I think that's why there's this big push now for a lot of people hopping into programs and ready to work on themselves. And I think, we're going to talk about a lot of things in this whole live stream. We're going to talk about what it took for us to get from, kind of floundering with our creative work, just enough to get by, always going through these cycles of like, ooh, windfall, and then, oh, what do I do? Can't pay anything.
Anybody else eating out of the trash? Calling it food rescuing? Or is that just me?
Recycling.
Yeah.
It's gotta go somewhere, right? Going from that to feeling more successful and what it really takes, and we're gonna talk about the work that we do and how you can put whatever it is that inspires you into something you can share into the world. And we may talk a little bit about channeling itself, the law of attraction, those things that having an awareness of them makes us more magnetic.
I believe that. I talk a lot about magnetism in my work. And I wanted, on that note, to talk a little bit about how we met, because I felt like a magnet. I feel like there are people in your life that you're drawn to. And actually, I saw Dante before he saw me. But I actually met Dante with my eyeballs in Hungary. And this was the rainbow gathering of like 3,000 people. But I had seen him from across the meadow. And I was like, that fella, what is his life like? What is going on over there? And he was calling people to a workshop. And I actually hadn't even really been delivering workshops. I had just graduated from my yoga teacher training, and I didn't even have the courage to host my first workshop yet. So that might have been the draw too, was that how confidently you were crossing the meadow, like, follow me to my workshop. And I was like, that is what I want to do. And then I went along and started to do it. And then I met Dante again at another rainbow gathering, but in the Cascadias in Portland, I think, or close to Portland, somewhere in Oregon.
In Oregon.
And the cool thing when I met Dante is he was in the middle of a channeling session where I was like, and I didn't really know much about Starseed or Palladian, and I knew, but I got this download. And he came out and I was like, were you channeling from the Palladian star system or however I put it? And he was like, yes, because obviously this is what he does, you know? He's very, yes. And I was like, whoa, cool. And I was like a little puppy dog. And then we just have been weaving together ever since. One of the first cacao ceremonies I went was with Dante. But you keep meeting these souls along the life. And it's been beautiful because I've gotten to see us grow together. And like we said in the post yesterday, going from feral hippie to abundant feral hippie.
We didn't have to sacrifice any of who we were. We didn't have to let go of that wildness or creativity. In fact, it was like almost like before I thought I had to compose myself in order to be successful doing healing work online or something like this. And then I realized like the more that I just committed to bringing out what I wanted to bring out, I could let go more. In the times when I wasn't like in front of the camera or something, it was like there was more freedom because I started to own myself, own the power that I had.
Yeah, in your own unique expression.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that comes up. So now I help other creative visionaries and transformation facilitators actually have the courage to package up their message and put themselves in the online space, in the international space, in an authentic way. And a lot of my clients come to me with that issue of we have this idea of what professionalism looks like. And some of us, when we start to drop those robes and we start to walk the world barefoot and like start eating out of the trash, but rescuing food and understanding that, you know, the world is made up of many, many cultures and all these kind of ideas and concepts, and not even just this world, but as Dante is bringing to us, multi-world, multi-dimensional beings and places and worlds. And so there is no one way to look at things, but we still have this programming of what professionalism looks like. But we are wild. We are the wild ones, a song on our breath. And this was a song channeled to me. So I would also consider myself a channel. It moves through me through song. And I don't know where it's coming from, but maybe Dante can help me with that. But we all have this capability of being that channel for creative energy, for messages, for hits of intuition. And when you have the intuition that you want to create something meaningful in this life, that you have an idea, you have a business idea, you don't want to work for the man anymore, but you want to still be abundant and still have resources and still have the tools to run your business, because running a business actually takes a little bit of abundance as well. You got to start to think that I can do this just as I am, actually.
Yeah, and that's part of it, is like the uniqueness within you is what attracts the people that are meant to work with you. And I don't think the people that I work with are all kind of like me. And in fact, the like realm that I flow in is very different than the people that I attract online. But there's still this kind of soul essence that is the same. And when we start to look at this more galactic perspective, it's like we are all connected to so many things, so many different groups out there, and we all have these archetypes, these energies within us, that even if somebody has a different lifestyle and has a different upbringing and different understanding, we meet at the same level. But there's something within your unique essence that speaks to people, just like, you know, every form of art, every artist brings this energy into the world that uniquely changes and opens people's perspectives and makes people see, things are different than what I once conceived them to be. And you actually already have that essence. All you need to develop is the perhaps tools to understand how to really work with energy, if in this realm sort of, or you need the tools to kind of know what it's like to put yourself out there, to work in the on the internet with all this weird technology stuff. I'm not that good at that still. You're a little bit
sideways.
And the confidence that comes from experience. And that's something that, you know, just having an outer mirror of like, okay, what does it take? This person's confident in front of the camera. So I watched a lot of like videos from people that I don't even resonate with all of their teachings, but it was an energy transmission of like, this person is very clear in delivering their message. I don't have to accept all of their message to kind of see what that frequency is. And in the same way, it's like, it's also like, if we're talking of soul relationships here, it's like a bit of a leapfrog. Like, you saw me as very confident, right? And it's like, oh, you're inspired by that. But at other points when I saw you making these courses online, like, I was like, yeah, I'm nowhere near the point of putting a course online. And then I see people putting courses online, and I'm like, wow, I can put a course online too. Why have I been hiding that? And that catalyzed something for me. So you have it within you, and it's just a matter of like doing the real work on yourself to gain that confidence and be stable. And yeah, stability is really key. Consistency is really key. It takes consistency, commitment, and self-respect as well to put yourself out there. And when I was inconsistent, it just didn't flow. It was like, put a video up once a month when I feel like it.
Wild one.
Yeah, I was inconsistent, and I thought it was just okay. But when I really like realized and made it a priority and looked at why I was inconsistent, because the reason why I was inconsistent wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because I thought I had to be in a certain state or be perfect before I do it. And it took a lot of surrender to actually develop consistency, ironically. When we think of consistency as a pushing, it was more of a relaxing into myself that made that good leap.
Yeah. Oh, and this actually is another thing that most people come to me with, and it is this idea of, I'm not able to be consistent. And I totally get it, because I would do the same thing. I would show up and I would make a post. I don't know where it was leading people, and then I would hide in the forest. And what helped me to be consistent also was to know the value of my offer. So I had created an offer that I knew helped people because I had asked people what they wanted. I got out there when I was on the internet being like, what do you want me to create for you? I'm a creative. I can create something. And so what would you like? And that was the first step of like getting clear on what it is that I'm offering this world. And a lot of us creatives, we have so many multi-passions. And so I know that you have so many multi-passions, and you've been able to focus on this beautiful gift of channeling, because I think you had no choice. They were like, you have to do this. But for me, it was like, oh, I love songwriting. Oh, I have this gift to be able to talk. What else do I love? I love creation. I love to dance. I love to move. I'm a yoga teacher. So I had all of these things, and it's like, what am I supposed to offer this world? And then I decided I can offer all of me. More the question was, what can I create that encompasses all of this? And I started making songwriting courses, and then I started to help people to also see that all of their unique gifts and talents, instead of, okay, I'm going to teach yoga for $5, let us know if you've done this for, $5 a class. We both were in that pool a lot of times. Like this is a very transformational 1 hour or more, like, series that you're taking people through, and it's only valued at $5 or wherever we are, or 70 baht or 70 Q in all over the world where they don't value yoga. And it was like, what can I create that is more robust, that I can actually be valued for my, not just my time, but like the transformations that I help people to achieve. And so this is very key. Like, what do you want to offer that encompasses all of you, or at least the parts of you that you're like, yes, I can share this. So it means that you don't have to take another yoga teacher training, or you don't have to become a veterinarian. You don't have to take any more courses. You just have to become who you were meant to become. Maybe you're meant to become a cat. You just be your feline self and move that through, package that up with the message of helping other people. And it's really quite beautiful. Ooh, wow, no. Ooh, squirrel. And that's how you stay consistent. But then bringing it back to consistency is when you have an offer and you know that it helps people, you cannot help but invite people inside of it. The kid's gonna knock down our live stream, climb it like a tree.
It doesn't seem like
she's gentle. If you fall over, go boom, it's because we have beautiful little creatures that want to play with you.
Yeah. And I think that's really important what you said of like being a multi-passion being. Because we all essentially are. We have so many things that light us up. There's so many things that fill us with joy and, you know, a feeling of passion, connection. And the Pleiadians and other channel beings say that's exactly where it's at. And we don't want to like throw away some of those things in order to just create this one thing that, oh, well, this is what sells. That's the old paradigm. And people have a hard time because so much of the time we've associated work with effort and struggle, and we've associated money with work. So they don't think that what really just does it for them can actually be what they use as their income too. But actually in the new paradigm, that's the way it's designed. That's the way it's set up. That what you're passionate about, you naturally develop all the talent to do effortlessly. It doesn't feel like work. And so then it's so much easier to remain consistent because you don't feel drained doing it. And you're just this like ray of joy continuously creating songs, creating videos, creating art, creating or working with people, counseling them. Whatever it is, you should want to do it. And if you don't, then probably don't do it. The old paradigm is effort and struggle, and the new one is just ease and alignment.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about it is like none of this, you know, going from what we were talking about, getting $5 for a yoga class. Like I was living off my $5 yoga classes, waking up with no money, $5 yoga class, one student, cool, that pays my day here in Guatemala. That was like 7 years ago. I was just like, as long as I get one yoga student, I can eat today. And everything's all right. But, you know, it wasn't okay.
Right. I had to, you know, when I gave away my possessions. So my story is actually, I had a big girl job. And I was helping foster kids in this job. I actually have a degree in psychotherapy, and I was counseling foster youth. And so I didn't have this kind of like, I need to leave the corporate world kind of revelation, but I had a revelation that I needed to leave. I was still working in an office with 9 to 5, no windows, and these old paradigm beliefs in a system where like I actually couldn't help these kids at the level I wanted to help them because it wasn't yoga that I was teaching them. It wasn't these spiritual concepts that I was teaching them. It was like this, what I was supposed to teach them from the higher ups. So like being constrained and even how I help. So, but I was helping. So I wasn't like, I need to leave the corporate world. So actually I had this kind of strike of, I actually was attacked by one of these kids. And that was it. I was like, I'm burnt out. I'm not doing this anymore. And I was seeking spiritual awakening. I was seeking a more spiritual life. So I did, like, I had a house in Hawaii. I didn't own it, but I lived in a house in Hawaii. I had so many things. I had a car. I had all these things that we're taught, like, to grow and to move into. Like, get a degree, get a house, get a husband. Boring. But finally I was bored. And I went on this adventure. And I started to release some of these material possessions. And in that, I also actually gained kind of more money blocks, actually. So I love the rainbow people because in the rainbow gatherings, because they brought us together and I learned so much about myself and spirituality. And I also picked up beliefs that were not my own even. That, you know, money was bad, that rich people are stinky, and it's like, no, us hippies who haven't showered in 4 months are kind of stinky. But like, you know, like these beliefs. And it was hard in the beginning to decipher what is my truth and what is something I heard once. And now I just like take it on as my own. And once I started to really go, oh, I need to figure out what I enjoy and what is my truth. I started collecting things again. I started becoming a materialist again. But I started to see money and these things as tools. Because after that, I lived in a van for a while. And I loved it. Actually, you went cruising in my van. We went from like somewhere in Oregon to somewhere else in Oregon. We were literally living the life, but we were going from Singing Alive, I think, and you went in the van, and so living in the van was quite beautiful. But then there came a time where I was like, okay, I have shed enough, and how can I rebuild this ego? Ego not from this kind of egoic, like I'm self-important, but I believe that we kind of have egos. We have egos in this life, and maybe you drop your ego to invite the channeled beings in. But for me, I'm full of ego. But you gotta like your ego, and can you shape your ego to be an ego that helps? Can you show yourself on the interwebs to help people? Can you show up for yourself in that way? Like I have to have an ego to know I'm gonna go buy my cat's wet food. I have too many cats right now. My cat had babies, so I need to feed them. So I'm responsible for these little beings.
That's so cute.
Yeah, everything I do is to feed these guys wet food, by the way. So what do they say? Wear your ego like a loose-fitting robe. Like it's not exactly you, but unless you are going to be, in a yogi in a cave somewhere without a personality, can we create a personality that is based on what lights you up? Yeah. Follow your bliss, beings.
Follow it. Be your bliss.
Be your bliss.
Be your bliss. I mean, that's what it all founded upon, right? Like this idea that it's all about your state of being. So whatever makes you feel the lightness of being, the flow of your being, that's your offering. And that's what you're here to do and here to bring. Because that energy of love then ripples out from you. Yeah, and abundance is part of it. And abundance doesn't, it takes owning your abundance to become more abundant. And abundance isn't just money. Abundance is, the way that Bashar, one of my favorite channel beings, puts it, is the ability to do what you want to do or what you need to do when you need to do it. And as long as you've got that, it all flows perfectly. So, having a vehicle, having friends that can take you places, having community, having communication is abundance. Like, you are already abundant in your abilities to do, communicate, express. Those are forms of abundance too. And when we realize that, I have this abundance within me, my creativity is a form of abundance that I can convert to this other form of abundance. It's like energy conversion. Like, here I am, I'm really good at talking, and for a while I don't consider that gift at talking to be something that important because I just do it. but other people find value in it, and other people receive life-transforming experiences from it. So I convert that into the energy that suits me. And what is money? Well, money, the system of it is really corrupt because a few people have all of this and all these other people don't have it. And it's built upon the pyramid of the people at the top profit the most. So seeing the way it's set up, you don't, the hippie or spiritual mindset has always been to avoid it. But then when you realize that by avoiding it, then you're diminishing your own ability to change that system is kind of one way of seeing it. But also when you see that beyond the system, money is just energy. It's the energy that buys me this drink. It's the energy that gives us this place to live. It's the energy that feeds us. And it can be the same thing for other people too. So if it really is just energy, like in higher dimensions, they achieve what they need through the energy of love. And here we do it through this energy of money. So why would money be different than love? If all is one and all is love, why is money different? And then when you allow yourself to have more of it, Like what I notice now is like as things flow differently for me, and I'm by no means anywhere close to rich from like the outsider world perspective, but from the spiritual community perspective, like people are like, oh, he's got it going now, because they're still like eating their cans of beans and like
you got a full pizza.
and you know, one of the greatest gifts is to be able to channel that energy where it needs to go, to the local community people here, the Mayan people that are dependent on tourism and are struggling now. I can be like, okay, like, I don't need this stupid thing. It's not stupid, it's beautiful, but I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm not a materialist. I'm not, like, even though I use the resources of the world, I'm not that fascinated with owning a house or owning a bunch of stuff. So I just buy it because it supports people, and that feels really good, and I'm able to do the therapies that make me stronger and support others, and it's really amazing that the more you allow yourself to receive in any form of abundance of money, abundance of communication, abundance of support, abundance of friends and connection, abundance of love, then the more you open up to share that with the world as well. And so you have to complete the circuit by receiving. And you can't receive until you fully believe, I'm worthy of this.
Oh, so good. It's so good. And no matter what level you're at, because I'm talking a lot about money consciousness now, because it has always been an issue for me. Because even before I left to walk the world barefoot and like collect change in a hat from singing my songs, oh, them coins! I actually grew up in a single mother household, working class family. It's a sweet way to say "po." I was po. So I never had money. I never had money, and so even when I started to earn it, even as when I had a job as a psychotherapist, I never could keep it. I never had anything in my bank account because it would come and it would leave, but not because I was like supporting anybody great, not like now, but it was just an energy shift. It was a consciousness shift. And what I'm learning is that because nothing is outside of us, right? If we really come down to it, just like you said, everything is love, all is one, all is love. Nothing is outside of ourselves. So actually money is us. And so like we love it. We can do little dances and little songs to it. And the offering, you mentioned something about offering, and I had this download today about how in the Mayan community, they offer things to the fire, and this is around cross-culturally, they have offerings to the fire. And if you consider this life, this transformational experience, like this fire, then what you create, you have to offer it. You can't create something and be like, that's mine. Like, I have this gift. I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Keep it forever.
you gotta start to offer it, and whatever it is, if it is song or if it is something that is actually deemed like, starving artist, people have this concept as well. And so I had that concept, and so I was offering my songs, I was offering them a lot, and I had my hat and I would collect the coins and I could never make it anywhere. But there was still that energy of I wasn't really fully ready to receive. I wasn't. But now I am, and it's because my offering helps people as well. It is for the highest good. It's to help people come into their own creative essence, to understand creativity is them, and to move something creatively through and offer it to the fire of life. Who's a channel now?
We're all channels. We all have an offering, and it's like what you put out is what you get back. One thing that I realized about this money consciousness thing was like, I came to view it now, instead of me earning more money, I'm seeing it as me becoming a version of myself that's better with money. Like, why do we consider that this is something that I have versus it's something that matches my vibration? So it's something that I am. So it takes like owning, okay, I am abundant because I have an offering to share. But if you think your offering doesn't have value because you are trained to think that you don't have value, then it's never going to feel right and authentic. So sometimes it does take a lot of that deep work. Like one thing that I teach in the channeling course and I do in one-to-one sessions when people are really ready for it. Like I'm not somebody who forces, and I'm not even as an intuitive person. Like you get a lot of people in the more intuitive psychic field that just show up and be like, all right, tell me what I need to know. And I'm just like, you tell me what you need to know and I'll help you find it. Right?
Give us something.
So when people are ready, we can work with these belief systems and come to see, okay, where does this originate? There may be child trauma where we're not allowed to receive, and we were told we aren't worthy of. And we're told our talent is something that harms people. So going back to those moments and transforming them psychically through really connecting in this very deep, intense way with our inner self and with our past self. And then also working with the belief systems. Okay, this is what I presently believe. What is the opposite of that belief? And how can I find evidence to support the opposite belief and make it a reality? Because once you make that switch in your belief systems, then everything changes. It's like you see the world through a new lens and you'll never see things the same way you saw them before.
What I really love is I believe that yoga is a channeled offering. You know, it's 3,000 years old, but it's like the first channeled offering. But it comes from the divine or from the aliens. I don't know where it comes from, but they named it Pratipaksha Bhavanam. And bhava means feeling, and pratipaksha is like opposite. And so I've been getting some flack lately because it kind of sounds like I'm just like spiritually bypassing. I'm like, follow your joy, follow your best, just be happy. Wait, it's not that way. Like we were talking about this morning of like, you're going to have mental breakdowns. You're not going to feel happy all the time. I don't feel happy all the time. However, when you start to meditate, when you start to look at your life from an objective lens, you look at both sides of the coin. You don't just focus on the trauma and the terrible things and the bad things of life. You go ahead and do that, but Pratipaksha Bhavanam, also check out that other side of it. Spend as much time looking at the joy, the bliss, the visions, what could my life expand to, as we do, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, oh crap, you know, like the same amount of time, and both from an objective lens, just contemplating and visioning and seeing. And so there is no spiritual bypassing. You go into the pain, you discover, oh crap, but there is suffering. I mean, Buddha taught us that. And he's an alien. I just want to know who the aliens are. So, but the Buddha taught us that, you know, there's suffering, but he didn't teach us this so that we would be like, yes, suffering.
Ooh, I want to suffer more.
But you wouldn't. My younger self would have thought that I was like, yes, give me that suffering.
Oh yeah, I mean, I went through years of the healing trap, and there's a lot of teachers that actually set people up in a healing trap. Sometimes they even let you know you can end up in a healing trap, but set people up in the healing trap anyway. And it's great. It's like this cycle of like thinking that you have something to work out. And the truth is you always have something to work out. But the reality is what's going to take you where you need to go is joy and passion. And when there's something in the way of you experiencing joy and passion, then you have something to work out. But if there's nothing in the way of you experiencing joy and passion, you have nothing to work out right now. You have to use that energy to manifest and send yourself further up. And then when you find another sort of glass ceiling, then you're like, okay, here I am. Now I actually have something to work on. And it took a long time to kind of figure that out. But once you figure that out, and I think once you become consistent, it's like you flatten the curve.
You had so much fun saying that.
You flatten the curve because, you know, there's ups and downs, right? But, you know, I wrote the other day, and you liked it, like, a lot of people liked it. Like, as long as you're not having mental breakdowns on a regular basis, you're qualified to help people. Because right now the world's losing their shit. Everyone's in this kind of like, But if you have something that helps people level out, changes everything. And once you step into that, or once you become consistent, it's like, you know, we're going up and down, but every time we go up, we go a little bit higher. And so what was once our low was a previous high. And I noticed that, you know, I still go up and down. I daily have moments where it's like, okay, now I'm working on something. But it's not, it's so different now. And now I just consider it like an awkward moment or a pause moment or a moment that, okay, don't look at the phone now. Don't interact now. And I'm just feeling awkward, feeling a little intense. And then it goes away. But before it would be like freaking out, screaming. Before it would be like sobbing. Before it would be like everything's hopeless. Nothing's gonna work until I need to just talk to this person and have them remove an entity from my 18th chakra. And then I'll move forward. But it changes. It changes.
Yeah.
And
I think the change is when you have an offering, when you have something based on your gifts and talents, and you are offering it to the world, and you kind of it could be considered a purpose. You know, we all have a purpose, or they say we all have a dharma. And when you find it, and when you're aligned with that, it's not like all bad days go away. But now the bad days are a bad day and not a bad month.
for sure.
But if you're experiencing a bad month, think of it like, well, did you used to experience a bad year? Because that also happened to me. I was like, that was a bad year. I mean, to some, this could be considered a very bad year. But to me, because of the shifts that I've been able to make through support, you know, through listening to homies like this, and through I have a Swamiji that talks about Vedanta, which is the sister study to yoga. And the main proponent of this is that actually we are whole and complete as we are. And so if you hear these yoga teachers kind of saying that in a yoga class, and you're like touching your toes like, what are you talking about? It actually comes from somewhere. And the more that you embrace that story, that truth, because it's actually a truth. It is the truth that we are whole and complete. We were born here completely perfect. We are perfection. And I work with a lot of people like striving to make something perfect. And this is this kind of awkward moment where you're like stuck between what is and some idea of perfection. Yeah, and those bad years. But in this supposed bad year, I have flattened the curve, I guess. I have felt great, and I have opened to receive at a level that allows me to serve my clients and my customers at a higher level. Like, I'm talking like stoked, like we have this in my community, the world called Popped. And it means like you have popped. You've invited people into your offering. You've popped. And now I give out pop prizes. And it's so lovely when you can give because you're living in a state of abundance where buying somebody a prize doesn't affect you. You are happy to do it. And it's a very beautiful prize. It's a kitten. Everybody gets a kitten.
Oh, it's a free kitten. Yeah, there's something really powerful when you really just put yourself out there and have those first moments where people really take in what you're offering. It changes a lot. And for me, it's been like a really affirmative journey. Like, you know, no one steps into their first workshop confident. When you're building a skill and getting comfortable in front of a camera or doing anything, it's like there's this trial period in a way where, you know, the work you're doing is just showing up and doing what you can, and there's tension that releases. But even in the moments initially when I was so nervous on the inside, people got so much from what I shared. And it was in seeing like, okay, like I was able to let people peer into a part of themselves or a part of this multifaceted universe that they hadn't seen before. And they're grateful and things are transforming. That made it real for me. So I wasn't confident at first. It was really nerve-wracking. It consumed a lot of nervous energy. And then going from being able to teach workshops confidently already like 6 years ago and being able to do it in front of a camera was like many years. Like 3 or so years ago when I started shooting videos, sometimes I would shoot them 3 times one video because I was just freaking out. Sometimes I oh, a couple minutes and press the button again because something's not right. But but now it's not out of nervousness. Now it's out of, oh, I can say what I just said a little bit better. Anyway,
Interesting.
Anyway, it's like it takes time to get comfortable, and once you're confident doing it, and you see what it does for people, so much changes. And it feels, it's like almost the greatest healing. It's like sometimes when I'm working with other people and bringing this through, it's like I receive so much from just feeling the gift of sharing.
Because this video is not about us. Actually, when we get together, we kind of just like talk about boys.
Speak for yourself. No
Don't reveal our secrets. When we get together, we're just kind of like laughing and like throwing things. We're like little children. And so this video is not really about, it's not about us. Whenever I come to a video, I'm not thinking about me. And that's what has allowed me to have confidence. And it did take a few people, you know, we're taught not to look for outside validation, but it was nice when somebody received like the result that I would have liked them to receive from the video, or they came with like, that was inspiring, or now I got this shift, and you're like, oh, it's not necessarily outside of validation, it's we are just all walking each other home. Ram Dass says that, and it's so true. And so if you're living and you're able to see the transformations that anything that you do does, then you are going to live in alignment. Because I don't know what the Palladians say, but when I know that I'm helping people or little cats or whoever, like I feel in alignment. I feel better. There's no year-long breakdowns anymore.
Because it's like, it makes it more real somehow through that outer reflection. It makes it like, wow, like this is something that I didn't do, but I facilitated. And if I can facilitate that for somebody else, I can facilitate that for myself. And it's powerful. It's super powerful. Maybe in the last bits we want to answer questions.
I love
so,
to. Well,
yeah,
I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, you ask a question, but just letting people know that they can start typing their questions.
Oh, we have questions.
We have comments. Are they questions?
There's Hello Kitty. Evidence is the key. Oh my God, you two together. Jen the Sparkle. Yeah, we're together, hanging out in the flesh.
If you click the thing, does it make more? Oh no.
Oh, we lost all the comments.
I think you have to click on the 12 comments thing. But what did you want to ask? Oh, why doesn't it work?
Anyway. Yeah, well, because I feel like we channel, or we describe our channels in a little bit of a different way. Like, I know that I channel full songs. They are gifted to me, and then I kind of perceive like, okay, this song was gifted to me by the Dandelions. There's a song that was clearly gifted to me by Mother Mary, and that's really beautiful. And some songs, I'm not sure. And then there was a song gifted to me by our past friend Marion. Gifted us a song, gifted all of us a song. Yeah, because when I sing it, it's very cute. So he gifted me a song a few months after he passed. And so, yeah, it's a little bit different. And so how did you come to understand that where you were channeling from? They told you?
They did, yeah. I mean, when I started channeling, I started off doing energy healing. So I was doing energy healing, I was listening to channels. I was working with people who did channel these spirits, so I was kind of exposed to this and exposed to the idea. And I had a lot of their guidance of like, okay, just open your imagination. You might receive this as a feeling, as a message, as words, or as something else entirely. And when I was doing the energy healing sessions, I would start to hear voices in my head, and it was like, we are the angels, or we are this specific angel, we are this, we are that. And they would say this thing to me, and then I would say that thing out loud. And then once I got a confirmation that I wasn't like saying ridiculous things that made no sense, I got more comfortable with these voices in my head, and started to be like, okay, like, well, then the voices said, once I was comfortable with them, you can speak this message out loud, and I entered into a channeling state. So then once I got comfortable with the angels, then the Pleiadians were like, well, we're here too. And all of these other extraterrestrials were like, we're here. And then, but they were also pointing, well, the Pleiadians are the ones that you are meant to have this regular connection with. And I was like, okay, cool. So I've come to learn what that frequency is. I tune myself back into that frequency. They're my friends that are always with me, but it's also like they're inside of me. That's part of this all is one thing, is like this is just another expression of my soul at another level. So I have that kind of feeling with them. So it's almost like an energy that I tune into, and from that information comes.
Cool. Fun.
Really good, right?
Because your course is about channeling. So basically you just summed up 3 months in 3 minutes.
Well, that was my experience. I mean, there's a lot in the course where we hold space for people to get comfortable channeling, to use many different tools that prepares you to channeling. And I mean, it's called a channeling course, but I also include a lot of other psychic development tools, like how we can work with our other past or future lifetimes, we can work with our belief systems, how we can work from memories from the past and rewrite those things. And then in the end, we do talk about bringing all these skills together in order to develop healing relationships or put yourself out there. So we cover a lot, and I mean, in a way, like, I think you could go into much greater depth with all of the subjects, but I think it's like the holistic journey of it is like being able to see all of these parts of yourself and how they connect. It sets people up to continue exploring in all of those realms.
Cool. Yeah, because folks just graduated from your course.
Yeah.
Were they so excited? So fun. I was hanging out in his course, he was hanging out in my course, so we've been able to like check out what each other is doing. However, I was deep inside teaching my course and he was deep inside teaching his course. But it's really nice that we get to work together in this way, and because something connects me to the Pleiades. Something you're like, hello. Duh. And I just haven't really been able to put it into words. So that's why I always just, follow you around and see what you're saying. But that's fun. But I really like also how, do you feel like you've separated kind of who you are? Because you say they're inside of you, but you don't always say the message that they're saying. Like sometimes you're talking about pizza. What do they say about pizza?
Pizza's really good. One of my favorite foods. It'd be better if it was vegan and gluten free, but we're getting there. No, I mean, yeah, I do in a way, like I almost like to highlight that I have this own personality that's kind of separate from all of, or differentiated, not separate, but it's different from this like spiritual woo world. Like when I'm with people, I step into a very focused space where, I don't want, my problems and my stuff aren't there. And even my biases aren't there. But then when I go, out into the world again, I'm still that same wild being I've always been. And like, I'm very humorous, sometimes to extreme senses. Sometimes it's not about saying jokes, it's about being the joke, right?
Yeah, we are together. You got it. We're just like a couple of jokesters, but we are the joke. I don't know why people are laughing at us all the time. Now I get it.
Being the joke, being light, being, not taking it all so seriously, and just, putting the Pleiadian message to work is what I consider it, that following your joy to the fullest and doing it the way that makes you feel the most yourself. Because the purpose of all of this is to be yourself fully. But also I feel like I go through, like, I kind of recycle personalities. Like I make a new personality or two every year.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's why I felt like I've had many different friends over the years.
Yeah, I'm a variety pack.
That is fun. That's cool. My favorite Dante is my friend Dante. But I do love the Pleiadian message. And that's really amazing that there are these people, these beings out there that are straight saying, delivering the message as it's meant to be delivered as they are saying it. And I love that, because as a coach, which is a little bit different than, you know, a channel in a way, or the way that I present myself online is like I'm a coach. But what's cool about that is I get to kind of teach from my biases. I get to teach from my opinions, my mistakes, and the things that have worked for me. And I also like that. And I wonder what it would be like to also just, you know, say what is moving through me and take on that role. And it could be something to play with. But I also like that idea that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made, especially when you go from his course and you have this gift to offer the world. Well, now how do I put it online without making 2 years worth of mistakes that Christina made? Which is like not valuing my offer, not pricing it at a price that was meant for transformation. It's going from one thing to the next without like really focusing and letting the thing that is flourishing flourish. Mm-hmm. I'm like, ooh, what else can I create? Which I just recently did that, so I'm still making mistakes. But there is no mistake also. However, what works in the online space is kind of, you can see it. You can see patterns, like you see patterns in anything. And you can start to harness those patterns and kind of time travel. And let's not make 2 years of mistakes. Now you have these intuitive gifts. How can we package it up, create a message that is so true to you, and just kind of blast through those, not blast through ferociously, but if you want to, you know, you can come flying out of the jungle like a jaguar, or you could soar like a bird, you know, whatever but moving through and actually offering. Because I come to see that people kind of have resistance. They'll get this idea and then the resistance will come back, the old patterns will come back, and we're trying to say, oh, but it's not the right time, or, you know, I still have to work on myself, I still have to heal a few things. And the point is that you're whole and complete as you are. And if you have any questions on that, we still have a few more minutes if you want to ask them. Yeah. Do you have any questions for the Dante and Christina show?
Can we look at the comments, or do I have to go look at the phone? I don't know why it won't load them. Let me just turn around and look at the phone quickly. Okay. I'm a variety pack, love. Hello, kitty.
Hi.
Evidence is the key. I love that. Oh my god, you two are together right now? We are. How many cats you got right now? That's the question, Christina.
Okay.
How many cats?
I will tell a little story on that. The other day I got bit by a scorpion, and I thought, you know, for sure I was going to die. So speaking about mini breakdowns on how I don't have big breakdowns anymore, but for sure I have mini ones. Well, that was the one. The scorpion bit me. I thought for sure I was going to die. And my dying thought was, they are going to find me alone in this apartment with 7 cats.
Still here.
Still here. Totally great. The scorpions here are not that poisonous. No. The 7 cats are still here. 5 of them are kittens, and yeah, they're looking for homes.
They're so cute. If you live in Guatemala, you can take one. Just don't abandon it like some of the hippies do. That was the only question. So people must have been really satisfied with what we shared. If that was the only question. I thought it was great.
This is the best conversation we've ever had.
This is like, yeah. Because normally if we talk, we just say a lot of things that are irrelevant.
Nonsensical.
But it's not irrelevant. It's relevant to us. It's more about just raising our vibration by spreading the giggle virus. It's more contagious from Corona. You can get it through a scream. This is the humor we share on screen. You don't want to know what we say behind closed doors. You really don't.
It's so fun.
Maybe we should leave it there.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I think it's the smartest I've ever
been. Most enlightened. 100% enlightened. So, if you're on Facebook, Christina's tagged in this. You can add her, check her things out. Mm-hmm. If you are seeing this, you're probably seeing it on my channel or my feed. I'm running the channeling course again October 18th, and there's still people interested in, there's 2 people interested in the Reiki course. I need some more to run it. I'm not going to do it without more, but if you really want to learn Reiki online with me, we can do that too. I love them both. And I also help people with these things in one-to-one sessions. And I mean, I'm kind of like a coach too. Like, I do offer people things besides what the Pleiadians say from my own human perspective, but I don't even like that word coach. I need to work. I need to work on my resistance to that word.
Or a lot of people in my community, they just stay resistant to it and they come up with a new one.
They come up with a new word.
Guide. What else do we like?
Guide. I like guide.
Intuitive guide. I think most of the people are like that. I like it. He's an intuitive guide.
Intuitive guide.
I'm a coach, but I was like a cheerleading coach.
Intuitive guide.
1, 2, you can do it. Plus, I'm like a biz bestie. I'm like, you can do it. So I am like a coach. Coach Christina, conscious creative coach.
Stepping it up. Coaching it up.
Whatever you want to call yourself, you just gotta help people in the world. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't be selfish.
Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish by holding all of your gifts back. Basically, your creativity and your expression and your very essence is a form of abundance. And when you share it, it'll come back to you. So keep sharing. Sharing is caring, just like we learned at Rainbow Gathering. Truth. And there was that beautiful song, the more that I give, the more I got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. But those people were stinky. No, it's really fun. I would still go back sometime.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
I like now that I'm more about the fairy gathering now, for obvious reasons. Only the Rainbow Gathering people thought that money was part of the thing they could give. Right? Like, all these workshops we taught for free at Rainbow Gathering. It was a good training ground, though.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It was a beautiful training ground. Okay, I'm just talking random now. I think it's time to say goodbye. Unless people want to see the cats.
One more cat? Do we have a cat?
Do we have a cat? I don't know.
No.
No cats. Yay. Look outside, prettiness. Isn't that crazy? There's a big cat.
Oh, she likes your thing.
Oh, she likes it. She loves it. It's her favorite. Say hi. All the kittens are hiding. Okay. I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.